There are very few social media comedians, skits makers, and that genre of people that can say they held the internet by storm. Like they took us and held us in a chokehold. Mark Angel is probably the most prolific and prominent one of them all. We remember seeing skits from Emmanuella's when she was yay high, Dennilson Igwe, and others that made us laugh our heads off. We all loved Emmanuella, we all loved the skits, but little did we know that a lot of things, a lot of crazy things were unfolding behind the scenes. We did not know any of this was happening. Maybe there were few suspicions here and there until Dennilson Igwe, one of the cast of these skits, came on the Honest Bunch podcast to reveal hidden secrets, hidden truths of greed, of ignorance, of poverty, of misinformation, and possibly abuse and some diabolical things. I'm here today to share the video of Mark Angel comedy and the scandal with Dennilson and Emmanuella as told through the perspective of Dennilson, and also offer up a few legal solutions, if any. Okay, we need to talk about contract law, we need to talk about ignorance, we need to talk about intellectual property, we need to talk about what the law says. But before we delve into these subtopics, let me just give you a brief behind the scenes, a brief gist of what was told on the Honest Bunch podcast, because I was shook. And by the way, did you know that people are making tens of millions of dollars from YouTube and other social media platforms, especially Nigerians? If you didn't know, now you know. If you want to hear what I have to say about this video, please keep on watching, and don't forget to thumbs up this video, give a subscribe, just click the subscribe button, leave me your thoughts. If you've heard of this gist, what you think about it in the comment section, and let's keep on watching. Hi guys, so what's up? My name is Sotoye Kelechi Mozi, aka Soti Baby, Soti Mama, Soti Special, if you're seeing me for the first time. And on this channel, we do lifestyle vlogs. We talk about the law, we talk about serious or unserious topics. We talk about things that impact society. And today's video is one of them. Honestly, if you have been living under a rock like me, you would not have heard about Mark Angel comedy. I heard about him in passing, but I knew more of Emmanuella as opposed to the whole, the whole structure of what their social platform was. Okay, but up until I watched that video, I was like, wait, I've seen Dennilson before. I didn't even know all these things were happening, and I delved into a deep hole of conspiracy, of greed, of ignorance, of a lot of crazy things. And I thought that I would share it with you, being that I'm a lawyer and this area of law is a bit interesting. Okay, so let me give you a brief backstory of how, according to Dennilson and what we've watched over the years, okay, how this brand started. According to Dennilson, he was sent to Mark Angel as a houseboy or a servant, and was supposed to be working for him and the family, but then somehow he got into entertainment. He used to take the camera from his church group and record himself, and he would show Mark, and they would laugh about it. He would also share with his friends all the skits he would make with the camera and all of that. And then that is how, according to him, Mark Angel comedy was born. It was formerly called Mechanic Pictures or something like that. I'll put the accurate name here. And therefore, and from then onwards, the skits blossomed. But he didn't know, and he had no idea that there was anything like monetization, and there were any financial benefits to posting skits online, because it was Mark who started posting the skits online. He opened, according to him, several YouTube channels, Facebook channels, and other social media platforms. Now, these videos were hilarious. Emmanuella videos, especially, like I said, I would always focus on Emmanuella's video, and they were hilarious. They brought brought joy to a lot of Nigerians. They were relatable. People could connect. It wasn't like all those stand-up comedians like Basket Mouth, AY, and those kinds of videos that we're used to. Those kind of comedic skits. These ones were relatable on the streets, in the ghetto kind of thing. So people would relate to it. And Nigerians, we like a good underdog story. We like a good grace to grass story. But it almost seemed like the grace to grass was only happening for a grass to grace story rather. It was only happening for Angel and not the other cast. What do I mean by this? Angel would buy a car here, then also be like, where did you get the money to get a car? And he would say something like, oh, somebody dashed it to me, or somebody lent it to me. They would have jobs and travel around the world. Okay, where is the money coming from? Where is the payment from this? Did they pay us? How far? And he would say, oh, they've not paid us, they're just giving us publicity, they're just sharing us, and one day we'll blow. He was giving them some kind of hope. Okay, but there was no financial remuneration according to Dennilson. All right. On the part of Emmanuella, her parents were still living in abject poverty, according to what the story was being told. According to the story, they were living in a bacha or a thatched house. Those kind of mud houses, those things that they use zinc and they will knock together and join together. And it's like, your daughter is everywhere on the internet. Everybody knew who Emmanuella was. Okay, she was everywhere, and she was supposed to be making some kind of money, but the parents and the family members were not seeing it. And backtrack a little, it's almost as if the parents handed Emmanuella over to Angel as well. Okay, she was kind of like his ward of sorts. And so what happened was, when the parents approached Angel and his team, allegedly he drafted a kind of agreement and said that he'll be paying Emmanuella 20,000 naira a month. Okay, if you calculate what 20,000 naira a month is in terms of dollars today, is less than chicken change, especially when you compare it to the figures they had started to make. I mean, Angel is probably one of the most successful YouTubers out of Nigeria today, because they were getting views. He got 1 million subscribers when people were barely struggling with 500 subscribers. They were getting views. So obviously, if you know the dynamics and the algorithm and the analytics of YouTube, they were making a lot of money. However, he agreed with the parents to pay Emmanuella 20,000 naira a month. And she was one of the talents, okay? She was one of the main talents in that comedy skit and their group and all of that. Now, moving over to Dennilson. Dennilson says he still did not see any financial remuneration. I'm sure he was being dashed money here and there as per just take. But like, to say that you're putting him on a contract, or you're putting him on, a payment scheme, or you're bringing him as a partner, as a co-collaborator, none of that was done. Up until when he went for an interview at an embassy, I believe that's what he said, and somebody saw him dressed the way he was, and it was like, guy, why are you dressing like this? With the amount of money you are making and things you are doing, why are you still looking so raggedy? And he was like, now so life be, like, things are not the way they are, but one day we go blue. You know how Nigerians can be. I'm just paraphrasing here. And then the person was like, it's not possible. Go and find out, okay, how much you guys are really making on this platform, and download this app. I think it's called Social Blade or something like that. And you would see how much YouTubers and content creators are earning roughly. It might not be accurate down to the T, but it gives you a general idea of what YouTubers are potentially making based on their views, their subscriptions, analytics, and things like that. So down went Dennilson into the rabbit hole to dig, and he got the shock of his life when he realized that almost monthly they were making as much as $160,000. Wow. And this was now a wake-up call for Dennilson. He's like, I've been cheated. I have been, I haven't gotten the remuneration. I've not gotten the benefits of what I've been working for all these years, and I need my own payment. Okay, so he went to Angel quickly, allegedly once more, drafted a contract with the help of his lawyer, a severance package. Okay, so a contractual severance package. And in this severance package, he kind of outlined the role of Dennilson in the whole setup as an employee, as opposed to a co-creator, a co-owner, or a co-collaborator. So Dennilson was just basically one of his staff, Mark Angel being the head. Oh, by the way, he had already changed the name of the brand to Mark Angel Comedy, his own comedic, outfit. And so Dennilson was allegedly paid 10 million naira, and he was in the contract. We have not still seen the contract till today. It was stipulated that he cannot contest it in court, that he's an employee, and so many other court clauses that were included there that kind of prevented him from doing anything about his situation. Okay, now some people will say, oh, 10 million naira, that's amazing. At least Mark, okay, he realized his mistakes, he tried to correct it, and decided to pay Dennilson 10 million naira. But you guys, 10 million naira, compared to $160,000 every single month is nothing. At least it's better than what Emmanuella was getting. Oh, by the way, before this, I think there was a disagreement when Dennilson had a child. He ended up becoming a father, and he now decided to tell Mark that he needs more money, he needs payment to feed his family and fend for his family, and he started paying him 200,000 naira a month. Yes, let's backtrack to that. And then fast forward to the whole 10 million naira severance package, meaning that he was firing Dennilson from the team and giving him his cut, like, okay, take, I've washed my hands off you. He said that he couldn't even dispute the fact that that 200,000 naira was not fair, like that it was fair to him. He had to agree and accept it. And Dennilson, I think, ignorantly signed that contract, okay, signed that agreement. And so here we are today. Dennilson is doing a tell-all, speaking about his experience, speaking about the fact that he was severely undervalued, severely underpaid, he was ripped off, okay, and Mark has done it to several other people, including Emmanuella. He also spoke on the fact that Mark Angel might be diabolical. He dabbles into juju and some kind of things, cultist, ritualist kinds of things. I don't know anything about that. I mean, I wash my hand. Anything demonic, sprinkle the blood of Jesus. It don't concern me, okay? But another area of concern too was the fact that Emmanuella is still currently living in that house with the other talents, and most of them are men. So he was alleging, or kind of alluding to the fact that she might be groomed or pimped out or abused in some kind of way, especially if she continues to stay in that environment, okay, and several other things. But that is the background of the story, right? So I want to talk about contract law now, okay? What does the law in Nigeria say a contract is? A contract can be written or oral, okay? It can be written and oral. It can be verbal or, informal. It can be direct or indirect. There are several ways to define contract law, especially when it comes to labor law. So there's a labor law in Nigeria, but the thing that defines, or that gives a contract a validity, is if there's an offer. Okay, for a contract to be valid, there has to be three main elements: offer, acceptance, and consideration. Okay, an offer is that, okay, I'm going to do this for you, or you're going to do this, and these are the terms of what you're going to do. Then you accept. By accepting, you maybe take an action, or you sign a signature or something that shows that there has been acceptance. And then when it comes to consideration, that there has been something paid or something gained or lost for that contract to become valid, usually monetary value. So the fact that Mark Angel was paying Dennilson 200,000 naira every month, whenever he started to pay him, even those small dashes here and there, you can call it consideration. So were they in a contract? You can say yes, they were in a contractual agreement, but the terms may have been a bit blurred. So the thing with contract law is that a lot of the times, and this happens quite frequently with creatives in Nigeria, especially rappers, musicians, entertainers, they refuse to learn. They refuse to learn that you can bind yourself, your destiny to a person if you don't read the terms and conditions of your contract, okay? And if you don't hire a lawyer. A lot of people don't like to pay lawyers. I'm a lawyer, so I'm a bit biased, but it's true. When a lawyer tells you his or her legal fees, you're like, is it not contract? Can't I download it from Google? Until you see that a lawyer will carefully craft a specific clause that becomes so airtight that you cannot get out of it no matter what you do. Even if you hire the best SANs, if that contractual agreement and the court says it is valid, it is binding on the parties and all of that stuff, there's nothing you can do. So creatives are fond of signing things, signing their life away, signing their royalties away, okay, because they are still royalties that could have even been got. Do you know how much money that they would have been making from royalties, from comments, from different things like that, that have gone under the table, that have been lost? So yes, he is allegedly in a valid contract, or he was in a contractual agreement with McAngel. Now the question is, the contractual arrangement, was he an employee, a co-owner, a co-creator, co-collaborator, or just a skits maker? And that's where intellectual property arguments can come in. Since the way Genesis told the story, it could mean that, or the way he was saying it, that he brought the skits to, or the ideas of the skits, okay, to McAngel, and they filmed it and all of that. But more questions have to be asked. Was he the script writer? Does he have any writing credits to these skits that were posted online? Or was he just an actor or a comedian in it? This is why it is important to, write everything down. Whatever your thoughts, whatever your agreement, whatever your roles in any dealing whatsoever, whether the person is your blood brother or your husband, it is important to write those roles down, because whenever there are disagreements or contractual disputes, these things help actually with evidence to present to the court. Because if Dennilson cannot prove any of this, assuming he goes to court to say that he demands damages and compensation for all of these things that have happened over the past, he has to prove it. But does he have writing credits to the scripts? I don't know. Okay, was he credited as a contributor? I don't know. Was he credited as a co-owner? Did he bring, how in Nollywood you will see, story by so and so person? Was the story by him, or was he just acting out whatever it is? He even claims that McAngel comedy started because of him and when he started doing the scripts. But there's nowhere to say that he created the YouTube channels. He put the names and all of those things. So when and if he goes to court, the evidence from what we are seeing is siding McAngel, because Dennilson was ignorant when he started these things and signed, and he just went with it. I think it was maybe a case of desperation and poverty and ignorance combined, because you can see something moving, you want to make money, you don't know better, and you decide to go ahead with something or someone. Now let's just put a pause in this and say that we don't know the other side of the story. So everything we are saying is based off of one side and speculation. McAngel has not come out to debunk or to clarify or to give a robust response. He has not given us a robust response as to what really happened. So we are waiting to hear. Maybe it's true, maybe it's not true. But as far as Dennilson is concerned, with this particular scenario, it's going to be very difficult for him to prove that he was anything but an employee, unless of course he has evidence to show that. The difference between morality and the law, and this is where social media judges and lawyers, as opposed to real lawyers and judges, come up. Okay, so morally speaking, you can say that it was wrong to be earning billions, okay, billions of naira over the years, and be paying your co-creators, co-collaborators, or employees, regardless of how you see them, peanuts, okay, less than peanuts. It is immoral to describe and say that greed led you to earn so much money, making such a name for yourself, able to buy cars, build houses, and do things. Meanwhile, your staff, again, we are calling them staff because basically that's what they were, and or they are in terms of the agreement, your staff were barely making any money. We see this with Fortune 500 companies. We see this with CEOs and all of that. You are raking in billions and millions, yet you're paying your gates man 20,000 naira, you're paying them this and that and whatever the case may be. But in this case, it's even worse, because these people were more than gates man, house help, staff, cook, and all of that. They were the face and the name behind the success of this brand. Without Emmanuella, without Dennilson, without without all the other people, Mark Angel comedy would be a one-man show, and probably they will not be making as much as they are today. So there's an immoral aspect to it, in terms of saying that if it's really true that he wasn't paying them the way he should have over the years while making such amount of money, then he's wrong. However, like I said in the beginning, morality and legality are completely two different things, are different things. Mark Angel, being the less ignorant of the the group, hired a lawyer and protected himself, and had a bit of foresight that maybe one day these people will come out and tell this story, and I have to show that, oh, I actually paid them and they were just my employees. Okay. And is that morally wrong? Maybe, but legally he has backing. Okay, he has backing under the law. And I don't think there's any law, correct me if I'm wrong, lawyers, that stipulates how much you should pay based on the percentage of your earnings to pay your staff. I don't think there's any law that stipulates that. Maybe there's the minimum wage law and all of that, but that's for public servants and things like that. So so at the end of the day, okay, at the end of the day, Mark Angel is somewhat protected. Now let's talk about legal remedies and how or what Dennilson can do to get compensation. We have talked about going to court to challenge the contracts, okay? Challenge the validity of the oral agreements, the informal agreements, the written agreements, and all of that. But again, it's going to be lawyer versus lawyer, the law versus the law, and it's going to be drawn out for years, okay? There's no case, unless it's maybe undefended list, or unless it's maybe undefended list, or some simple cases like maybe matrimonial causes like divorce proceedings where it's not being challenged. But there's hardly any case in Nigerian law, especially when it comes to contract law like this, that would be finished or concluded under a year. It's going to take minimum a year to a year and a half, 2 years, because Nigerian law is getting faster. Okay, the courts are trying to speed up the dispensation of justice, so things are getting fast, but it's still going to take minimum of a year and a half, 2 years to even come to any kind of conclusion, and that's in the high court. Before you know it, somebody's going to appeal, go to court of appeal. Court of appeal to even get a date can take 2 years. Then talk about Supreme Court if you want to appeal again. So he might spend years and years in court paying excessive amounts of money, and he will still lose out. And when he loses out, or if he loses out, he may not be able to bring this matter back to court again. So it might end there. It will end there. When you get to the Supreme Court, it will end there. So he can call for, now that the public has, heard these kinds of things, the elders in the industry can sort of call for a mediation or negotiation, or just, settlement in some kind of way, or he can challenge it under intellectual property. I'm not too versed with that area of law, and I hope that I can get somebody based in intellectual property law to come and speak on this with me. But you can challenge the fact that these videos and these skits were his ideas, even though you cannot copywriting ideas is a tricky area. But you can say maybe he wrote the script. That's why I kept asking, was he the script writer? Was he involved in the production process? Was he involved in all the other nitty-gritties of this, bringing out the skit to life? Is there evidence to show that? He can challenge that his intellectual property was stolen. I mean, maybe some videos, he can challenge that. That's one way to look at it. Okay, so those are the two main ways. Okay, intellectual property and breach of contract law. And even under the breach, the court can order strict performance and all of those things, specific performance rather, where maybe Mark Angel had failed to fulfill his contractual obligations to Dennilson. Now we're going to Emmanuella. Her story is still unfolding. But if I were her parents, I would get that lady out of that, because she's not a girl anymore. She has grown up in that environment. I would get her the hell away from these people, whether or not she's under contractual obligations or not. You can bring her and take her home and let her do her skits and come back, and hire a good lawyer so they can review whatever agreement or lack thereof that she has. But being in that environment is crazy, especially in this area of human trafficking, of abuse, of things like that. Now, not to say that this is happening, but as a woman, and knowing that a young girl is not safe in that environment, she should be taken out of there. And it also serves a lesson to anyone. Okay, please and please and please. When people tell you ignorance is bliss, it's a big lie. Ignorance is not bliss. Ignorance is not bliss. Ignorance is not bliss. If you don't know imagine you don't know what's going on in your body, but you have cancer. That cancer will still kill you, whether you know or not. Okay, it's better that you even know so that you can take chemotherapy treatments, radiation, or whatever, and get it metastasized and get it cut off, right? As opposed to it growing and spreading, because that ignorance means it will grow and spread. You will not know, and then they will tell you have 6 weeks to live. So ignorance is not bliss. When a lawyer, a good lawyer for that matter, tells you that you need a contractual agreement, or you need to sign this deed, or you need to do this and protect yourself, please pay your lawyer. Okay, pay your lawyer and pay attention. Nothing stops you from getting a second opinion if you don't want to completely trust your lawyer, but you should actually take it seriously and hire a good lawyer. Okay, no matter how good or how lovely your relationship is. I know Nello and Adeze had a channel. I watched Adeze's video actually, and I remember those early days when they started talking about when they started their channel, and people be commenting, oh, this channel, how are you going to share it, who's doing the editing, and who is doing the creation, who is buying the equipment, whose camera are we using, what are we using, whose space are we using. And being friends with them, I saw firsthand that they were using Adeze's studio or office then because the space was more convenient and all of that. And they contributed in sharing the money into two. As Adeze said, whatever came, they just divided into two. But that's because they were friends, and probably because they are more mature and more they are less money conscious, okay, because they didn't need the money that much. But imagine if it was people that needed the money, as in when I mean they didn't need the money that much, they were not desperate enough, But imagine if their relationship extended for a certain period of time, the channel blew, and then maybe because Adeze has now relocated, one person is now the one doing all the editing or whatever, it can cause conflict, it can cause issues. So even in that friendly best friend kind of relationship, an agreement should have been written down. That's just my personal opinion. But they were lucky and they are blessed because they have such an understanding relationship. And again, they were not that desperate. These people were desperate and hungry, and I'm not insulting them, but that is the reality. They were desperate and hungry, and they needed this, and so they thought that this was the best possible outcome for them, and so they signed their rights away, they signed their money away, they signed a lot of things away. So please and please and please, no matter the friendly relationship you have with somebody, please ensure that you sign and read, not just sign. Even if somebody presents a contract to you, employment contract, because recently somebody called me and said her employment contract even stipulated that if she leaves the company without giving them 1 month's notice, she's going to have to pay the company 1 month's salary back. I don't know if that makes sense. That normally they give you a severance package, you're leaving, and they pay you for 2 months or 3 months, depending on what your contractual agreement states. In her own contractual agreement that she signed without reading completely, it says that even if she wants to resign, she must give the company 1 month's notice. But if she fails to do so, instead of them paying her a severance, she will pay the company 1 month in lieu of defaulting to tell them that she's resigning. Can you imagine? Can you imagine? So we sign things without realizing. So please, please, please take care. Be conscious of what you're signing. Be conscious of what you're saying. Be conscious of the agreements you make, because there can be, like I said, oral and written, and they can be enforceable and binding on the parties. It just really depends on the court to interpret whether the contract is binding or not. So guys, we've come to the end of this video. I will update you as time progresses and we see more of this scandal unfold. Okay, I'm hoping that things are done about Emmanuella quickly. Okay, I'm hoping that we hear Mark Angel's side, because I'm really interested in hearing his side. But I just want to end this video by saying that I encourage everyone that is watching this video and listening to me. Social media, the internet has made people, regular people, even people that came from abject poverty, billionaires overnight. Some, it took years, but they still made their money. Some, it became the stepping stone to other businesses, greatness, to acting careers, to being brand ambassadors for big brands, to being creators of makeup brands, of things, of so many things. We've seen people like Tayo and Aino build a house. We've seen Jackie Aino build a house. We've seen so many, content creators. We've seen Nello. We've seen Adeze, even in that our small niche. But if you talk bigger than that, even Nezerville, you've seen so many people grow from social media. So I'm even naming a few. CCME, Delicious Food. Some people don't even put their face on the channel. I think Kiki Foodies and Joyful Cook also. I don't think I've ever seen their face before on their channel. Yet they are making millions of money. How do you know they're making millions of naira or dollars? It's because their views and their subscriptions. So what am I saying here? Do not underplay the importance of social media. Do not underplay the role of social media. If you have content to put out, put it out. If you have a voice and you have something to say, share it. If you have something you want to, tell the world, tell the world. Like I was talking with my friend the other day. There are people who make money from popping pimples and removing blackheads and picking out ingrown hair from social media. That is all they do, literally. And some of us watch that video. There's some people that post their cat and their dog or their babies or things like that. It doesn't have to be so critical. Okay, it doesn't have to be something where you sit down and place the camera and do like this. But whatever it is, you have to share because literally people are changing their lives from being online, being on social media. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. Please give me a thumbs up. If you enjoyed this style of narrating the video, of sitting down and gisting with you guys, let me know in the comment section. But don't forget to give me a thumbs up and subscribe. We're almost at 10K, you guys. I'm seeing the future. We're almost at 100K. Let's talk about that. We're almost at 100K. So please subscribe and I'll see you in my next one. Bye for now. Mwah.